This episode of After the Table is brought to you by Crescent Moon Alchemy Co. Crescent Moon Alchemy Co. is a Houston-based and eco-friendly shop for all your fantasy needs. I also happen to know the CEO, Michaela. We went to university together, and whenever I heard she had a nerdy company, I had to get on board and join the ranks of fans of their products. Whether you need dice potions to bring up your life total or pack things in their ultimate game night backpack, they have what you need to make your game nights go perfectly. Use code Shelly10 for 10% off your next purchase, and make sure to tag them on social media whenever you get it. That's Shelly10 at Crescent Moon Alchemy Co. Hello, Internet, and welcome back to After the Table, a TTRPG podcast. 'Tis I, your favorite clown in a wig. Well, not right now. Look, don't ask. I don't know where my contacts are, and putting lashes on in this with glasses is not a fun thing, okay? But hey, that's how I like to be sometimes. Sometimes I am a clown, sometimes I'm this. That is being a woman. Hello. And hey, speaking of women and femmes of the world, this episode and this week we have some of the wonderful members who celebrate the amazing, talented, and diverse women of the TTRPG industry. They are constantly raising up femme and them voices in the space, and I like what they do, so I had to get them on the podcast. Welcome to the table, some of the members of Women of TTRPG. Hello, hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
It took a little bit, but hey, we're here. We're doing it. So to go around the thing, we'll popcorn it around. Introduce yourself, name, pronouns, and a little fun fact. You know what? We'll do this. Favorite TTRPG. There you go. Anybody can go first.
Ooh.
I can go first whilst they're thinking. Hi, I'm Zoe, she, her. I'm one of the founders of Women of TTRPG. And at the moment, my favourite TTRPG has got to be Vampire the Masquerade, because we've just started playing it and I'm excited.
We love Vampire the Masquerade in this house, I'm just saying. You can decide who goes next.
Okay. Kia, go for it.
Alright, well, hello. I am Kier, or Dungeon Mother Kier. I'm from Malaysia, and I do socials. I do videos and posters, graphics, all that stuff. And my current favorite TTRPG is a Southeast Asian fantasy called Kala Mandala, which is free. You can find the playbook online and support stuff from Asia.
Hello, I am Lyssa, she, her pronouns. I am from Finland, and most fun TTRPG is a rude question because I like to try new TTRPGs all the time. However, I think I would like to play more of Werewolf at the current moment. I am currently also playing Vampire, but since Zoe said Vampire, I'm going to go with Werewolf, the Apocalypse.
Did I literally just put in front of you so that I could say it first?
Yes, you did. I saw the twinkle in your eye, and I was like, God damn it! Why?
It's the vampire twinkle. It's like Twilight twinkle, but
yeah. Oh, that's put me off it a little bit, but okay.
scheming.
The Twilight sparkle.
The Twilight sparkle, exactly. We don't condone the Twilight sparkle in VTM, by the way. We don't.
No.
We don't. Get thee away, demon. So I kind of want to know, what's everyone's origin stories with TTRPGs? How did y'all each individually come into playing them? We'll go in reverse order of how we did the introductions.
I started playing in my undergraduate in university. I had a friend uh and she basically said, "You like fantasy, right? And you like storytelling, right?" And then it was all downhill from there. Um, I was playing around 12 hours of D&D per week for around 4 years, maybe 5, maybe probably closer to 5. Then I started a podcast about D&D. So and our episodes are like 2 to 2.5 hours long. So I was doing that on top of playing 12 hours of D&D a week into campaigns. So I just basically made it my whole life. So hence it was all downhill from there. It took me over, and I said yes.
Kerr?
Hello. Oh, how did
Yes.
I get in with TTRPGs? I think it must have been 2018 around there that I was looking for friends to play board games with. And I made a little Facebook post being like, "Hey, anybody want to play Catan?" And a friend was like, "Listen, we have a group. We play games, but it's not board games. Would you like to try?" And that started a 2-year long campaign, as it does.
As you do.
As you do, and that was kind of like the start of, oh wow, it's a whole new world of gaming, because I've never really been much into video games, but I love playing games, so this was just such a fun way to get the extroverted energy out of my system. And then I basically just thought I could do a better job than the game master that was playing the game, and I was like, well, what if I, decided to learn the rules myself? And here we are. So that's my story.
And Zoe, yeah.
So I think the first time I played a TTRPG was when I was at college, which is so long ago, I'm not even going to try and work out the year. It was with a bunch of guys. We were all teenagers, and there was only 2 girls there, and neither of us really felt like we were wanted there. So it was a bit of a shitty first. It was quite a shitty first experience. So then I kind of put that aside for like years, over 10 years definitely. And then lockdown happened in the UK during the pandemic, and my husband had been playing D&D with his friends, and they moved that online, and then they invited me and one of my friends to join, and I was so skeptical. But I got so hooked so quickly in this like really lovely, welcoming group of old friends. It was just a total polar opposite of what I thought it was from my previous experience, and it just snowballed from there.
I think there's a common theme, though, that once y'all are hooked with the storyteller gene, the storytelling gene, that you all kind of just fell into it and fell more in love with it. What is your favorite part of telling stories at the table?
I
He's
think
good.
for me is you can plan to do things, but you're never going to be able to follow through with that plan fully. I think for me, it's like, it's the chaos element. So if you don't know anything about me, I'm a chaos goblin. I have a shirt that says that. I love how you can think you're doing the most heroic thing you've ever done in your life, and then the dice says no. And you can think that you're giving a speech and you're inspiring people, and then your co-player just goes, actually no. And you can just you can just have your character, unlike in a video game, you can just have your character throw a tantrum and have them sit down in a boss fight and not do anything because they're having a character moment. And there's nothing else other than maybe writing a book, and I'm not a writer, so I wouldn't do that, that allows me to kind of play out that kind of chaos and expectations and reality sort of link between the two, that the way that like TTRPGs do.
Yeah, completely agree. I think for me it's that collaborative storytelling element where you can literally do whatever you want. And just kind of really dive into a story with your friends. As someone who's quite introverted, like to be able to get together with some people I really trust and just be silly and be fine with that, I feel like that's really freeing.
I think part of the storytelling thing, well, you've got the player side of things, so you got the game master side of things, right? When you're a player, it's like we're telling a story together, but sometimes when you're the game master, you're crafting that whole backbone behind things. And I think what made me step out from being a player, besides the little sneaky remark I made earlier about thinking I could be better, I am, but no. But it was more than just that. It was more like a lot of the content and the materials or the stories that we have access to are mostly Western, or stories that I can't, not necessarily, of course I can relate to a lot of stuff just based on media, but there's something unique when you start telling stories from your own perspective, or when you write your own stories and you get to craft things that are particularly tailored towards the audience that you would be interested in, like more women or femme-based materials and resources, or more Asian in my case. So that's what kind of made me start being like, what if we have dragons here? What if we just made our own little dragon? Yeah, so that's my little take.
I love that. I love that so much. Well, how did Women of TTRPG get started? How did that all get started?
So when I started playing again during lockdown, me and my friend who were playing at the time, we were like totally snowballing into it, and we weren't seeing that many women out there. Like, you could find loads of resources, but they're almost always by men or showing men. There was a few, and we were like, we've only just dipped our toes in this, really, but should we just go all in and start celebrating women who do this? And it kind of went from there. So it just started as like a few social media accounts, and we just reached out to some amazing women in the space and were like, hey, can we interview you and share it so that everyone can see how awesome you are? And it kind of just went from there. And we were doing it like on our phones on the way to work, on the bus. But it went so well. I think in the first month we got like 1,000 followers, and we were like, okay, we might have something here. I just haven't stopped. And it's just grown, and now we've got a team of, was there 5 of us? Yeah, it's amazing.
And Lyssa, Kerr, how did you get involved with Women of TTRPG?
So the stories that were, so I was reached out. I was one of I think I was the 100th person on the to be featured, and I felt so I was like, oh, people learn I exist. People know about me. So, and then from there I was so, it's so difficult to find community, I think, in places where the hobby is popular. It's even harder to find communities in places where I can barely get the books, you know? So when they reached out and I started connecting and getting to know that there's a whole world out there, and I was just so grateful when Zoe asked me, do you want to do something? Like, I would love to. Let me do stuff. And then here we are.
Yeah, I think I have a similar experience. We were asked to do an interview for the Women of TTRPG because for our podcast we look into the foundations of D&D and how inherently, fun fact, the origins of D&D are sexist and problematic and racist and ableist and all the isms when you look into it. Yeah, wow. Something made by old white men in the 70s and 80s is problematic.
Crazy.
Crazy cupcakes. So yeah, we did an interview, and then we I think we were messaging with Zoe for I want to say a few years, where we were like, we should do something together, and then we just couldn't figure out what to do together. And the thing that ended up being the thing we do together was we organized a lunchtime meetup at UK Games Expo, which is a con and an expo in the UK for TTRPGs and games. And then that went really well, and people turned up for that, and that was kind of like our first collaboration together. And then it turned into me joining the Women of TTRPG, and then becoming I think my name is the head of technology, whatever that means. But yeah, here we are.
I love that. I love the fact that it started as just like a way of talking about, people in like talking about your story, and then evolving into a further like deeper relationship. And I think that's so important, not just like as women in the space, but just like women in general. Historically, there is a way of like how we've like networked through time, just making these groups of people, whether it's just a knitting circle or getting women together for like protesting for voting rights, whatever it is. Like we all get together and we try to uplift each other's stories. On that, what would y'all say is the organization's like North Star? Like, it's like, this is the thing that we aim to make sure everyone knows. And like, this is even when people try to get it like wrong, this is what we aim to make sure this organization does.
Yeah, so ultimately when we first started it's always been about celebrating women and the work they do in this space, uplifting women, when so often the work that women do in every space doesn't get the attention or notoriety that it should. So we wanted to be the ones in this space to start going, hey, women are doing amazing things, look! And we've sort of carried that through, and through that built community. But it always comes back to celebrating the women of this space.
I mean, how do you do that? How do you make sure you stay not on brand, but like keep focused on that one point?
Yeah, for sure. We have a few things that we sort of stick to as like the core sort of content, I suppose you could say, that we put out there. And it started with our interviews, which, as Keir said, we've done over 100 now, which was sort of how we really started out, was contacting people, celebrating their work, getting it out there so that lots of people could see it. And then from that, we've also stretched out into things like actual play, where we can get GMs to come and show what they do and do their amazing games, and then actual play performers to come and play in them, and then us all do some good for charity at the same time. We also do seminars at UK Games Expo. So we did one last year, and Lyssa was an amazing host. And we had some amazing panelists, and we talked about women in the TTRPG space and what they do, how it's changing, and it all comes back to celebrating women's work in this space.
I mean, anybody can answer this, but for those out there who say it's not that serious, why are you bringing gender into it? What do you have to say about that?
Kier, do you have some things to say about that?
I wonder. It's funny because so like I mentioned, it's a growing hobby here in Southeast Asia and Malaysia, and it's evident in the fact that I'm co-running an event tomorrow, and I'm the only female game master on the table again. And someone mentioned to me, they were like, oh, there just aren't, because first thing I said when I got in the room was like, oh, am I the only woman here? And they were like, well, there are not enough female GMs. I was like, are there not enough, or are you not looking? Have you made the space safe enough that they feel like they want to come out? Have you done these things? Have you checked in with these spaces? And being a content creator and stuff like that, I am biased. I will work with places that are safe. I will promote things that are inclusive. It is very serious. It is extremely important that when it's for inclusivity that goes further than just gender, but if you are not seen in a space, then you will immediately feel not welcomed, right? Because visibility equals acceptance. To be in a room with people who look like you or relate to you or can just be in your presence, that is how you understand that you are seen in this space. So yes, it is serious. And if you don't think it is, I have a sword.
You always have to have a sword on you.
Yeah.
To make your point.
The backup sword, yeah. I would say
that
like, if you look at the nerd community and if you look at sort of the social hierarchy of the people the men who end up in the nerd community, how they practice masculinity is very gatekeepy, is very, oh, if you don't adhere to this, if you don't know how to answer these questions about the nerd topic that we're talking about, it's very excluding outsiders and those who don't fit in. And unfortunately, if you're anyone who doesn't adhere to, I am a man, I am a nerd, I have knowledge of this, I have the money enough to pay for all of these TTRPGs, or for all of these consoles, these games, you sort of get ousted, which is changing because the world is changing, but it still kind of trickles into the TTRPG space because you still get that sort of, oh, you're a gamer girl, like, what even is that? Like, what? You're playing storytelling with these games. These are meant to be like XP stuff, and you do combat, and like, what even is role playing, and why would you do that? Because my boyfriend, for the longest time, his group didn't do role playing because that's just not something that they do, and he was watching and listening to me do. We have entire sessions where we don't even have combat. We just talk. We have a shopping episode, and there's not even that much shopping because we have inter-party drama. And so for some reason, that's just not okay because the gatekeeping men or whoever just want to control whatever power that they have within the nerd community. And so when somebody says it isn't that serious, that's because you're not suffering from the oppression, and being gatekept, and being not allowed to enter the room, into the spaces, have your voice heard. Just because you think you haven't experienced that, you haven't witnessed that. Oh, I have women in my table all the time. So, Where are the 80 other percent of women who joined a game, had a really shitty experience, and then said, I'm not going to play D&D or whatever TTRPG for 10 more years because that was fucking the worst. I was ousted out of a comic book shop. I was, sexually, like, put on the table. Like, it's... Just because it's not your experience doesn't mean that it's not somebody else's experience. And people just don't seem to understand that. And that's why this is so serious. Sorry, rant over.
Love it. We love a rant in this house. So
All of that. All of
all of that. I mean, on that note, like, yeah, it goes into the, just because it's not your lived experience, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. And I think that is very relevant right now in the world. It's very relevant. It's like, just because you're not experiencing this hardship, this, whatever is going on that people are saying that they're having issues with, doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It just means that your eyes aren't open to it. And hopefully by, having more women, having more people of color, having more queer people at your table, you're able to experience that a little bit more. I mean, hopefully it broadens your horizons. Hey, people of the world. Broaden your horizons, man.
Yep.
Broaden your world. Why start... So, y'all mostly... I mean, y'all first started with D&D, and then y'all moved to, like, more TTRPGs. Why start with D&D, though?
So, when we first started, we'd literally just started playing D&D. Like, we were so new to it. And we just started as Women of D&D. And then, sort of as you get further into it and you realise, there's a whole world of TTRPGs, but D&D, for so many people, is like the front desk. It's so many people's introduction to the world of TTRPGs. And I think that's just exactly what happened when we started this project as well. Like, we played D&D, we loved D&D, we got into it, we started a project, then we're like, there's more. Okay. So we kind of leveled up. And just sort of rebranded as Women of TTRPG.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I also started with D&D. I can't say much. I started with D&D. I think we can all safely say that we've all started with D&D, and then we've moved on to things like that. What was that first TTRPG that made you say, there's other things out there? I love this. Let me get back into it. Because mine was VTM. I will forever love VTM. And so, yeah.
One of you guys want to go? First TTRPG after D&D?
Yeah, I can go. I mean, the first one I played outside of D&D was actually Delta Green. Yeah, but it wasn't something that... I mean, it was the introduction to, like, there's more? There's other things that aren't fantasy? But I still prefer fantasy. So, but I do love, eldritch horror, things like that. So that was like a cool way. I love horror. I don't know if it's visible, but like somewhere up on my trinkets, there's like a giant coffin, Curse of Strahd. So that just goes up to tell you how much I enjoy gothic horror and the just scary, spoopy things. But I think what really got me in, and it's the same thing I plugged in the beginning, was when I found out that I had people in my region producing TTRPGs. That blew my mind, because all I knew for the longest time was D&D, Call of Cthulhu, And then I knew about VTM here and there, but it was like a couple of things here and there. But then I was like, wait, you mean there's someone from my country making games? How did I not know about this? And then ever since then, I have been backing and supporting any local Southeast Asian or Malaysian TTRPG creator I can find, or and the work that they do, because it just opened my mind to not only being able to play a role playing game, but being able to play a role playing game that is so relatable to the lore, because D&D, the roots of a lot of the things are more European fantasy, knights and dragons. We have things like that, but they're just different. The lore of the land here is different. So that's the one that got me in, and it's a system called Kala Mandala by Munkao Centaur Games, and I'll plug them in again. So yeah, that's me.
I think I was invited to play a game of Monster of the Week with a few people that I met through the TTRPG space. And playing Monster of the Week after playing years of D&D is kind of like going from writing a 10-page essay to writing a short story or a couple paragraphs. It was mind-blowingly easy and simple, and involved way less math than like the paper and pen stuff that we were doing with the D&D 2014 version. So yeah, and then after that, we sort of, through the starting our podcast, we also joined another podcast that was about news in the TTRPG. And the sort of premise of that was a guy who knew lots about TTRPGs basically would sell us, oh, here's this new TTRPG coming out. It's about this, this, and this. Would you play it? And so we did that for, I think, a year or so. And you just got to know so many new things about like these TTRPGs that were indie, that popped up on Polygon, or that somebody posted on Blue Sky or Twitter when it was Twitter. And you just found out that actually D&D is really something where like a lot of people start their journey on. Yes, because I guess it's kind of like, some people say it's the front runner or like the grandfather or whatever of TTRPGs, but like after you cross that path, you find out there's like these gates of TTRPGs open, and suddenly there's like, you're entering into a space where there's like so many little things that have all these cool mechanics that if you play and try out, and you're like, oh my god, this is so much more fun because D&D does this, but this thing actually does this, and this is way more interesting because these are different themes and these are different stories and elements and stuff like that. So it was sort of realizing that the TTRPG space isn't just D&D, and there's all of these cool things going on that you should know about. But yeah, where do you find out about that? If you don't know where to look, you kind of don't know that they exist.
Yeah, so true. And my first experience of a non-D&D game was really similar because it was Shiver. So it went from super complicated, all the dice, all the things, to super simple, but also such a good, fun, scary story, because I also like my scary stories. It was exactly the same. Yeah, it was. I think it might have even been the first game I played in real life as well, maybe? It was so good. It was the best Halloween.
Well, on the D&D note, y'all host how to play sessions. Like, people can come to the table and learn how to play at events that y'all put on. How did y'all know that y'all needed to fill that gap? And what has been the reception of it?
So we turned our program for Women's History Month this year into Learn to Play Month. And we just got a load of amazing GMs together to play or run their games so we could promote them, promote their work, and also create a space where people could come along aimed at women to come and learn the game in a space rather than maybe going to what could be quite an intimidating local game store. So it was kind of run through our socials, come to our Discord, building community, and it kind of made this sort of... It was quite intense because it was just like 1 month of loads of games. Everyone sign up. And it went really well and it was really fun. But yeah, it was... I think that might have been the first time we've done a Learn to Play project. But it was great. I would love to do it again. I really would.
I mean, on the community note, how has that... I mean, y'all had a community before, but how has that community... How did that community get started? How has it grown? And what are you hoping it grows into the future?
Either of you guys want to go?
I think you're the best person to answer this question.
We've been really lucky to very much find our people since starting this project. We just started with socials and then we started the Discord, which was an absolute game changer. It just brought so many women together and we just talk nonsense. We share games ideas we've had, character ideas, pictures of our dogs. It's just such a lovely community where people can just be silly together. And it's just another one of those things that's really snowballed to create this fun space. I just want to keep growing it, and just keep that going and see where we can go with it. Maybe bring it into the real world, like what we've done with our meetups in the past. They've been great. We had a meetup for our birthday last year in London. So many more people turned up to that than I thought would. It was. I almost had a little bit of a happy cry about it because I couldn't believe so many people wanted to come and play games with us. Yeah, it was great, and I didn't expect so many people to jump in, and want to be involved in our little project, and it's surprised me. Every year we've been running it. So many more people than I could have ever imagined. I want to keep going and make more.
I mean, on the note of y'all's birthday, I didn't know this until your 5th birthday that y'all did actual play stuff.
Yes.
And it's because y'all had a Thirsty Sword Lesbians game, which I love Thirsty Sword Lesbians. It's a very lovely game, but it had some amazing creators on there that I follow in the space. How did that come about, and what have been some of the AP things that y'all have done that you're very proud of?
I'd say that 5th birthday game was probably one of the big proud moments of the things we've done. We just shot a shot, reached out to people, and I couldn't believe that they wanted to be involved. It was super fun. I mean, was there anything you guys wanted to add on that? Because that was very much a team effort.
I think it's really just getting to know people in the space. I think networking with other women in the space, whether that's like going to cons, whether that's reaching out to people, like not cold emailing, but cold direct messaging. And surprisingly, a lot of content creators and AP people are happy to sort of, if your values align with, like they want a diverse cast, they want, representation, and as long as values align, they're surprisingly willing to kind of hop on to projects and to help raise money for whatever causes that we're raising money for that month. So with the Thirsty Sword Lesbians, that was just one good actual play that we put together, where we started reaching out to people and put together a cast, and yeah, made that happen.
Big shout
Did
out
y'all...
Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I have to do a quick shout out to Jen and Shah, who aren't here at the moment, but they are our actual play legends, so we have to shout them out for what they did to make those games happen.
Was the whole point of... not the whole point. Did y'all say, hey, y'all are doing this game? Or was it, hey, GM, hey, by the way, the GM was Danny Carr. Let's put it out there. Did you, when approaching, were you like, hey, would you want to play this game? Or were you like, Danny, go wild, do what you want to do?
So when I messaged, I kind of sort of laid out like, hey, we want to do a really fun game. We're thinking Thirsty Sword Lesbians and we're thinking about raising money for Planned Parenthood. You in? I didn't expect to hear back, but we did, and it kind of snowballed from there. It was great. It was kind of coming forward with the important information first, so that they don't feel like they then have to chase you for loads of information to find out what it is and whether they'd be interested, you know what I mean? Sort of getting the key points out there, like, hey, it's a fundraiser game, it's for Planned Parenthood, we want it to be fun, it's gonna be silly, Thirsty Sword Lesbians, and hope for the best.
It's a good time. It's a good time. Well, I mean, like you said, you raised money for Planned Parenthood. How important is it for all of y'all to raise money for causes that you're very passionate about?
One of you guys want to take that one?
Yeah, sure. So, I think, most things that I try to do when it comes to, playing games or doing live streams, even just as an individual person, we try and support, like, a good cause. And I'm very grateful that most of the circles that I'm with, whether it's my local game stores, like places like Here Be Dragons and stuff, and I have to say, most of them are women run or led that do these kind of efforts, okay? That we're always trying to find ways to raise money or bring awareness to things that are going on around the world, because it is not fun times that we are living in, and it's very important that we find ways to shed light or to raise funds for that. And what better way to do that than doing something you love while also giving back, provide some level of lightheartedness in this, grim circumstances, but we give back to something that means so much, and it just makes it all the more worth it and special. And I'm so grateful that I don't just get to do it locally, but because being with Women of TTRPG, I get to contribute to it on a bigger scale.
Yeah, I think giving back is like a really big stepping stone or value that we have in the Women of TTRPG. I think we're doing it for the betterment of women and other minorities, and bigger communities who need the assistance. So we're coming from a position of, we have some form of privilege, we have some form of network, we have some form of a spotlight in some way, shape, or form on our team as, like, the Women of TTRPG. We have some form of, we can put out an announcement and people will see it in the community. So it's always kind of giving back to the people that need it. So whether it's they need money, whether it's fundraising, or it's, we did the sort of a panel discussion at UKGE last year, and it was giving inspiration to women within the UK tabletop scene and being like, listen, you can do this. Men do it all the time. Why can't you? It's kind of doing it for the betterment of other people and also the world. So it's trying to do something small, but also trying to do something small and good. Yeah. It might not be big, but we try to do small good things for the betterment of other people.
Yeah, we are only a small project and we are all volunteers, but I think fundraising games is a good way to get the community together to do some good in a grassroots way, to do something that's quite reactive, because we can turn that around relatively quickly, especially now we have more of us. And it's a way for us to react as well.
I mean, on that note of having a bigger team, how do y'all plan your events for the year? Do y'all have certain, like, you have your Women's History Month projects that you do, you have your birthday projects that you do, but you don't just do things within those 2 time spans, you do them throughout the year. How do y'all plan for all that?
So this is the first full year where we're going to have our whole team of 5. It's amazing. Shelly is so good to have lots of people involved. And a lot of it is, like I said, we're all volunteers. So we got together at the beginning of the year, we planned out our year, and it was kind of led by what we want to do, the projects we're excited about, but also people's bandwidths. Everyone's busy. So we're not throwing things out every single day, every single week, but we have things ticking on in the background. And normally when we go a bit quiet, it's because the wheels are going behind the scenes and it means something's just about to come out. So yeah, we're not relentless with our content, but it is considered and planned around our team's availability.
What are some things that y'all are hoping to achieve within the next year? If you're able to tell us, if you're able to say anything.
Lyssa, we can definitely talk about what you're about to host at UK Games Expo.
Yeah, we're planning another panel discussion at UK Games Expo. Another panel of fabulous women to talk more about being a creator or person working in the TTRPG space, and also in the space where AI is something that's coming in and impacting creatives and also women in the space. So having a discussion about that, and also still trying to say and tell women and other people as well that women are and will continue to be in this space.
And we've also got some cool content that Kia is working on at the moment as well.
Yes, we are going to try and introduce people to different TTRPGs and do like a little mini series which will be coming out soon. And as usual, we tend to start with D&D because it's the entryway that most people get into. But the hope is to slowly start expanding from the big groups into the smaller ones, and it would just be a quick, short little introduction to games, and hopefully seeing a woman or femme presenting people, talking about games makes people feel like, hey, I can do that too.
Yes.
I love that. I love that so much. Y'all are involved in so much. I hope one day I can help y'all as much as y'all help the community. This is a perfect time to kind of say, like, what's on the horizon, where can people find Women of TTRPG, and all of y'all individually.
Do you two want to do your things first, and then I can finish off with all the Women of TTRPG things?
Sure. We could go. All right. So for me, you can find me on all social media platforms, I think. And all you have to do is search for Dungeon Mother, and hopefully the right one will pop up. Yeah, that's me.
For me, if you want a fun homework assignment, you can look up the Harlot table from early D&D. The worst harlot, supposedly, is the Slovenly Trolls. And that's what our podcast name is. We're the Slovenly Trolls. It's the worst harlot that you could run into in early D&D. That's what we are. We talk about the history of D&D. It's a verbal essay. It takes a couple hours, but if you're there for information, we got you. And yeah, Lyssa of the Slovenly Trolls and Women of TTRPG.
And you can find Women of TTRPG on everywhere except for Twitter. And YouTube as well. We put all of our actual plays up on there. We've got our panel from last year at UK Games Expo up there, which is amazing. Go watch it. Our new panel is coming out at UK Games Expo on the Saturday at 11 o'clock. Come say hello, come see Lyssa in her Britney mic, be amazing, and speak to a bunch of amazing creative women from the TTRPG community. Find us on our Discord. Just hunt us down. We're come join the community.
I love that. Thank y'all so much for being on the podcast. I greatly appreciate it. I always love talking to the women of the space, because it's we I think there's this through line, so that we all have a connection with. So thank y'all so much. If you want to find out more about Women of TTRPG, check out the links down below. You can check out their YouTube, which is linked, and you can check out all their AP content on there. Speaking of finding people on the internet, you can find me everywhere on the internet at Shelly Von Miller. Look, I'm everywhere. It's a bad thing. I've been on the internet for too long, y'all. Let's just say that. You can also find me over on Patreon, where we're going to go record our lovely table sets segment right after this. Paid tiers start at $7 a month, and if you want to get early access to the pod, a monthly newsletter, and things like that, you can sign up for free. I know with the world right now, not everybody can afford things, but I make sure to try to include some free stuff on the Patreon, so go just check it out. Every little bit helps. With all that being said, I love you guys very much, and I will see you on the internet. Goodbye.